How's it going, everybody? In today's Marvel Strike Force video, we're going to be going over my Season 16 Crucible defense that you might want to set right now before the first match starts in, 7 hours from this recording. So, I do want to first of all, though, apologize that I haven't got as much content out this week, both streaming and on the YouTube side. Clearly, I got sick. Well, I mean, hopefully you can tell I got a little sick. So unfortunately, not as much content as I would have liked to go out this week, but I know a lot of people were asking for this video, so I want to make sure I got this one out. So let's start off just by going over the global rules. Not much to go over here. Curse of the Accursed on offense defense. Accursed characters on successful hit apply trauma on target. And then it's the same thing as usual with the exhaust, max health, and the damage. I can't believe they've made me long for the days where we have the Age of X rules where mutants just got this insane stat buff. It made things a little bit more interesting. Or even just like the Master Evil get the Cabal tag. I kind of like that stuff a lot more than this. Hopefully we can get back to some more interesting global rules. But let's go over our stage rules because these are pretty nice. Teamwork. On offense and defense, skirmisher characters on ally turn gain assists now. This is different than the last teamwork where it was striker characters on ally turn gain assists now. The striker one obviously a bit more powerful because once you have them as strikers, they do a bit more damage. Skirmishers though, we're going to be loading up vulnerables, so I guess it's okay. So the team I'm going to be putting in here is going to be my Black Knight, 3 Illuminati members, and Doctor Strange. The reason we put either Black Knight or Doctor Strange on this team is to stop Superior 6 Old Man Logan from beating it. However, I kind of just like putting both of them here. I don't see so much value in having Black Bolt or even Mr. Fantastic instead of Strange because this is an old stat team. And if they bring a new stat team in that's built up, gear tier 20, some diamonds on it, they will get through my Illuminati, even if my Illuminati does really, really good, powerful controlling effects. So the backup to that is, hey, you got stuck on Black Knight, you killed him, cool, you got through Captain Britain, cool, but Doctor Strange comes to the rescue and does a nice revive. I think this is a solid, A- defense team that you're going to see people use their Star Jammers on, their Accursed on, maybe even a Mephisto on, and hey, that's a good pull in my books. Sinister's Gambit, we saw this in U32. On offense and defense, all characters on spawn, your character with the highest health clones the enemy with the enemy character with the highest attack. Is that true though? There was lots of speculation and some people have some screenshots providing pretty good evidence that it is not the character with the highest health, but rather the character that is positioned in the middle of your team that is doing the cloning. The cloning the enemy with the highest attack, that does seem to be working, which is good. But it's important to know who's going to be doing the cloning, because whoever does the cloning gives their speed stat to the clone. So I'm actually putting my Vigilance team here. I know, a lot of people were throwing Phoenix Force here. I think that was a really powerful team. However, when an enemy can clone your Phoenix, that helps them a lot in clearing you, or at the very least making sure they 2-tap it 100% of the time, every time. So I'm throwing Vigilante here. I figure I have enough on offense to do this. I know this is a pretty easy mirror. There's a little bit of RNG there. I know there's lots of teams that beat this, but I'm going pretty offensive heavy in the first match, as you'll see. And I'm putting Silver Sable dead smack in the middle because she does have the highest speed set on the team at 128. So if that, those pictures are true and they didn't fix this in between the U32 and now, I'll have a really high speed stat clone and that could pose some problems. All right, moving on to Spiritual Energy. We also had this room in U32. On defense and offense, all characters. Anytime a character gains ability energy from an active ability, they gain +1 extra energy. When an enemy character dies, all characters gain 1 ability energy. These don't compound, right? Because this energy you're getting when a character dies is not an active ability. So you don't get 2 energy for every death. I know a lot of people are confused with that. This will be from things like Thanos Endgame Empowered. Shuri, old Shuri for instance. Jessica Jones. I know we don't really use those characters in Crucible. So this is a little bit, inconsequential really. Ultimate abilities, however, cost 3 more in this room, and that's the power of this room. We don't want to put a team in here whose counter relies on ults. So that's why I'm actually going to put a pretty cheap team in here as well. We're going Liberty with Dormammu. The primary counter for Liberty is going to be your Superior 6 team, and Superior 6, that Green Goblin really wants to use his ultimate here. Now again, there are other great counters that are going to come in here and give it a hard time, but I think this might sap a little bit more efficiency than it has in the past, and I think the other rooms are a little bit more interesting, especially rooms 5 and room 6, though this will be the room people who don't have Professor X should put all of their chips in, and I'll talk about what team I would put in Stage 3 if you don't have Professor X. Stage 4, Solar Annihilation. On offense, defense, annihilated characters count as Star Jammers. This feels like an offensive buff more than a defensive buff. Remember, on defense, the AI characters will default to their opening ability. The most interesting character for this is going to be Gore at 129. Because if you put your Starjammer team there and I mirror it, I stop your speed bar. I stop your speed stat. You bring in Gore and he does his ultimate, you're actually taking more away from your team than you're giving to your team in that instance. Even if Gore replaces Rocket, because Rocket at least gives a damage boost to our Howard the Duck, and Gore doesn't hit very hard, all right? So I don't think this is going to be a defensive buff. Oh, and if you have endgame Thanos here, again, I'm not vibing with that. I don't like it. I think the mirror match is still a pretty consistent win, or you use a curse here and you wax it, right? So I don't think this is a good defensive buff. I do think this is a good offensive buff. So once again, if somebody uses their Starjammers endgame Thanos here, I can come in with my Starjammers Gore, because my Gore, under my control, can put an ability block out before I put the trauma out, before I do all kinds of other great stuff, right? So yeah, I don't personally love this, and Starjammers do not get that Annihilator tag also. So when endgame Thanos gets pushed, he's not going to clear the debuffs off Starjammers. I want to get that out of the way. You're still only relying on Groot, right? They would have had to put 2 lines here. Annihilator characters count as Starjammers, and Starjammers count as Annihilators for that to be in play, and they didn't go that far. So I'm treating this as a nothing room. I'm throwing my Superior 6 up here. I think Superior 6 have fallen off a lot. This could pull an Illuminati. That's an easy, clear, high efficiency. Could pull Immortals. Again, easy, clear, high efficiency. Could pull any of the new teams. Easy, clear, high efficiency, right? But I'm actually okay with that because I'm going pretty offense heavy in the first week once again. I find offense is my personal best strength. It's how I climbed from, top 500 all the way back to, I think, top 20 now. Is just by going pretty high offense while they're down. On offense and defense, all characters on successful hit, if the primary target has trauma, perform an ISO attack against that target. So what we want to do is we want to build up teams that either are immune to trauma on defense or that put out trauma to benefit from this. Who does that the best? Well, Mephisto, right? Mephisto gives trauma and Mephisto stops you from getting trauma. This is also where I'm going to put my Professor X. So I have Gladiator, Emma to stop speed stat from characters like Starjammers, Mephisto for that massive damage, Null to stop enemy Mephistos, and Professor X to, of course, stop speed bar, stop speed up. So we really have only harsh speed stat to go on. There's a 1-2 punch in this room that would instantly devastate this team. I'm not going to divulge that because I don't want it to happen to me. But this is also the team, if you don't have Professor X, we're going to explode it, and we're going to use some different parts for it, okay? So if I didn't have Professor X, I'm moving this over to stage 3. I'd probably do something different for stage 5 at that point. And I'm going to be taking off Captain Britain. He's going to be taking the place of Professor X. And then I might leave it like this, or I might even put Shadow King over Null. No, I'd probably leave Null there. So I just Captain Britain replaces Professor X so that you can stop speed bar, which would then stop Starjammers from coming in and wrecking your day. That's going to be like our primary defense. So if this is an A-, this is an A+ defense, right? And then we got Dacier's Avengers. Hey, shout out to Dacier. He made a pretty interesting room. $10 says it doesn't work as written. Okay. On offense and defense, all characters. If you have at least one city ally. Oh my god. Ally special abilities cost 2 less. Very interesting. If you have at least one global ally, when attacked, fill speed bar by 5%. If you have at least one cosmic ally, enemy ultimate abilities cost 2 more ability energy. So we really, really like this. And this is where I'm going to be putting my Phoenix Force team. Phoenix Force would do really well in Stage 2. Even though I kind of downplayed them a bit and said, hey, when that Phoenix gets cloned, it caused issues, I did get lots of wins in U32 with this team. But I think Dacier's Avengers is actually a little bit more comfortable here. So I had Pav as a city character. What's the power of Pav? Pav with speed up and turn 1 slows is going to help stop like an Immortals from coming in and wrecking my day. Pav, as a city character, is also going to let Kahori use her special turn 1. And Kahori's special is devastating. Then we have the Phoenix Force team. Phoenix Force team stops me from getting Safeguard, if I'm on the attack, and stops the enemy team from getting Trauma, which is why we put Endgame Thanos there, because now you can no longer control Endgame Thanos passive. He does his passive, he gets 50%, he can't gain trauma, he shakes all the debuffs off, he lets rain the fire, and that is devastating. And of course, the Phoenix Force team doing what the Phoenix Force team does best, just wreck in face. I really like this team. I'm interested to see how it goes. I know a lot of people are just going to try and immortal it. right? They don't think Pav is going to land those slows. They think even if he does land those slows, it's not going to be impactful enough. But I'm interested to see if they can't get to that ultimate fast enough because of this. If Storm can't land her ult and get permakills, this could go really bad for them. Same with Jean Grey. Jean Grey can't get their ultimate and get a permakill on the Omega Red, and he comes back. I feel like that can cause some pretty big problems. But if you're not comfortable doing this, then I would just take out both Kahori and Pav, and I would throw in Super Skrull and a pre-taunt, like a Gladiator, like a Black Knight, like a whatever, and I would throw that over in stage 2. And then that's going to be pretty good. We saw that in U32, right? But anyway, guys, that is my that is my Season 16 defense for day 1. We'll see how it goes. Let me flip that back over. And we want to go over what we have on offense left, because some people look at it and say, hey, well, that's pretty defense heavy, right? It's actually pretty defense light. I kept my Starjammers. I kept my Accursed. I kept my Immortals. I have Night Stalkers, but hey, this team right here, by the way, will beat Accursed without Mephisto. If there's Mephisto, we got those Songbird in there. Anyway, so that's 4. I have Cabal, Kang, Apocalypse. That's 5. And yes, I still have my Odin. I have my Quasar. I have my Old Man Logan. I have a Kingpin who I can use to soak up a Mephisto's opening ability. We still have a lot of good stuff going for us here. So I actually feel like my defense does not take away from my offense. Very offensive heavy. I could, if they don't have Cursed on defense, then I have full Night Stalker they could use, as well as full Orcus. Both of those are great burn attacks or great cleanup attacks. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. And yeah, we got the Odin. Odin is necessary to make sure you can 2-tap every single Professor X team, okay? Highly suggest keeping Odin on offense and same with Old Man Logan, because if the opponent puts Odin with the Professor X, you do a burn attack with Old Man Logan, he doesn't get charges, you clean it up with your Odin, and you win. That is the recipe I use to beat everybody in my U32 tournament. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative. I'm excited to play in this season. I think this season looks a little bit better than last season, and I want to know how you guys feel about all that. But for now, stay happy, stay healthy, have fun. Smash the like button. Oh my God. I'm going back to bed, y'all. Later.